Hi there, I'm Dany, an official tour guide here in Paris, and I welcome you to this little preview that we're gonna shoot about my visit in the Louvre Museum. So we're gonna get inside. This is the general entrance, okay, the Great Pyramid of the Louvre Museum. We're gonna talk about a very, very famous painting that I'm sure you know, but we are recording this during the COVID pandemic, and there is a certain dress code inside the museum, so I'm gonna suit up. Come on, let's go. All right, so we are in the first floor of the Louvre Museum on the south wing. This is the collection of the French paintings department, and we have some paintings from the Academy of Fine Arts and some masterpieces of French Romanticism, like this one. Do you know this painting? It's very famous. Normally people think about the French Revolution when they see it, but actually it has absolutely nothing to do with it. So the question is, what is this painting really about if it's not the French Revolution, and why? Why do we think about it when we see it? To understand what happened, we have to time travel to 1830. The 26th of July, the King of France, Charles X, he made several decisions. The most important ones was to forbid the liberty of the press, meaning that if you want to publish an article in the newspaper, you must have the authorization of the king. And he also dissolved the parliament for good. That didn't please the people at all. So the very next day, on the 27th of July, and for 3 days actually, 27th, 28th, and 29th of July, they made a revolution here in Paris. It's called, in French, Les Trois Glorieuses. It means the 3 glorious days. So what happened during this revolution? They say that even in less than 2 days, they made more than 4,000 barricades. This is huge. I'm not even sure that we actually have, back then, 4,000 streets to make 4,000 barricades. It was so violent, the people were fighting there on the streets of Paris, and the king, he had to abdicate. And the Chamber of Deputies, they called on his cousin, the Duke of Orleans, and he was the new king of the French. He wasn't the king of France. Next year, 1831, in this museum there is a contest. And Eugène Delacroix, who was a very famous painter back then, he thought, I'm going to paint the revolution, send it, and win the contest. So here it is. He's painting about the revolution of 1830. Now the name of this painting is The Liberty Leading the People. Do you see the liberty? Where is she? I would say it's this woman, holding the flag. And the people is the mob behind her. Where are they? On the barricade. And we can see that it's in Paris because on the right side of the composition, we have in the background, the 2 towers of Notre Dame and some buildings of the island of the city where Notre Dame stands. So maybe the most interesting part here is that Eugène Delacroix, the artist, he was all about the empire. He was a Bonapartist. So he wasn't actually in favor of the revolution at all. He went out to the streets, just to watch what was happening in Paris. And he was so afraid. He even he went to the Arcole Bridge, and then he met Alexandre Dumas, a friend of his, who also happens to be the writer of the Three Musketeers. So Alexander, he left a record, of this meeting when he met Eugène Delacroix during the revolution, and he said that he was terrified of the mob, and it wasn't until he saw the French flag on the towers of Notre Dame that this fear turned into enthusiasm, and he glorified the people that he was so afraid of. And now you can totally understand the composition of this painting, liberty leading the people. So the people are the real protagonists here. It's not about the Republic, it's not about the revolution, it's about unity, It's about people coming together to fight for freedom. This is the first time ever that you can actually see the people as a political actor. you know, with a big P. They have a say, they vote, they manifest, they fight for their rights. This is a very, very strong symbol, and it's dangerous. It's not me that said that, it's actually the king. The king Louis Philippe, when he saw this painting, he was like, I can't have this. He was terrified of the effect that this painting could inspire, you know, on the people of France. So he was like, I have to get rid of this. I have to. He was very, very clever. He came to the exhibition, he made a beautiful speech, and he decided to buy the painting. And by doing so, he could do as he pleased, you know, with the painting. So he removed it from the exhibition, from the salon, and he placed it in another museum, the Museum of Living Artists, because to display here you have to be dead. So the painting was in display in that other museum for a few weeks, and then it went to the deposit, you know. It went out of sight. And Delacroix, the painter, he was really mad, like, give me back my painting. It actually was displayed here in the Louvre Museum more than 40 years after that. Remember, the Salon, the exhibition was in 1831. And this painting came to this museum in 1874, during the Third Republic. And it was them, you know, the presidents of the Third Republic, who decided to turn this painting into a symbol of the Republic and the people. So they even printed it in the bills of 100 francs. So every time you handle money, you saw this painting as a symbol of the government. And the government is a republic, a modern republic, chosen by the people. And the people and the republic are a product of the French Revolution. So now you see this painting, and what do you think about? French Revolution, of course, because the propaganda works. And you know, the liberty leading the people is not the only painting with such an interesting background story. So if you want to know more, if you want to know the story of other works of art in the museum, book the visit on this very same page. And if you have questions, contact me. I will be very, very glad to get in touch with you and give you a hand in whatever I can. So in the meantime, I guess I'll see you in the next video.